Welcome to my channel, where your adventure into the future starts right now. Step into a vibrant universe filled with groundbreaking technology, breathtaking alien landscapes, and exhilarating sci-fi narratives that challenge your imagination. From daring explorations of distant galaxies to haunting journeys through dystopian societies, we uncover the most captivating stories and innovative ideas that will shape the world of tomorrow. Subscribe today and join us on an incredible intergalactic voyage that promises to inspire and thrill. I joined a human army. The words themselves still felt surreal when I thought about them, and even more so when I said them aloud. It wasn't because I had always envisioned myself as a soldier, far from it. My life had been one of exploration, of intellectual pursuit and deep curiosity about the galaxy. My background was in diplomacy, forging connections between species, brokering peace, and advancing knowledge for the common good of all. The idea of joining an army had never really crossed my mind, let alone being part of a human one. I was born on a planet in the Xylan system, a place where many species, human and alien alike, came together to share knowledge, trade resources, and maintain a balance of power. As a diplomat, my job was simple: foster cooperation and ensure that tensions never escalated. I had always held a certain respect for humanity, for their resilience, their relentless pursuit of progress, and their odd mixture of vulnerability and strength. What I didn't realize at the time was just how much they were capable of, how their courage and sheer willpower could reshape the galaxy. It started with an invitation, or rather, a request. The humans had sent a communication to our diplomatic corps, seeking support in a new venture. Their military had grown more aggressive, expanding its borders and influence across the galaxy. The request was not one of war, but of solidarity. They needed allies, and they wanted to show us firsthand what they were capable of. The invitation was for us to witness their might, to experience it from within their ranks. They weren't asking for anything more than our understanding. Many of my colleagues dismissed it as posturing. Others were genuinely curious. And yet, for reasons I couldn't quite articulate, I found myself volunteering. I felt an almost insatiable need to understand what made the human spirit so indomitable, to witness firsthand the truth behind the legends I had heard about their military. They had won wars, fought off invasions, and resisted forces far more technologically advanced. I had read the reports, seen the victories. But to truly understand the core of a people, I knew that one had to experience their lives in person. So, I made the decision to join. When I first arrived at the human military base, I was struck by the contrasts. The sleek, advanced ships docked on the edge of the massive stations, their polished hulls gleaming under the artificial lights, stood in stark contrast to the soldiers themselves. These were not mere warriors, they were something else entirely. The humans wore their military uniforms with a kind of pride that I hadn't seen in other species. It wasn't arrogance, nor was it fear. It was something different, something unquantifiable. There was a quiet confidence that radiated from them, a knowing, as if they were aware of their potential, of the strength they carried within them, yet they did not boast about it. I was introduced to my commanding officer, a human named Captain Elena Holt. She wasn't particularly tall, certainly not imposing in the way that some of the more physically dominant species I had encountered were, but there was an undeniable intensity in her eyes. They were the eyes of someone who had seen the worst the galaxy had to offer and survived. She spoke to me not as an outsider but as a colleague, explaining the basic training procedures, the weapon systems, and the strategies the Army used. At first, I was skeptical. The training facilities were not unlike those on other worlds I had seen, albeit on a larger scale. The simulations were impressive, but not entirely groundbreaking. But then came the field exercises. I was given a simple weapon, a human-made rifle, nothing particularly advanced in comparison to what other species had developed. It was lightweight, ergonomic, easy to use, and precise. The humans, as I quickly learned, were the masters of adaptation. They didn't rely on the latest technology alone to win their battles, they relied on the human mind, its creativity, and its unyielding nature. They understood that victory didn't always come from brute force or superior numbers, it came from perseverance, intelligence, and relentless willpower. The first live fire exercise was what changed my perspective. We were dropped into a simulated battlefield among with rocky terrain and sparse vegetation. The exercise was meant to simulate a covert infiltration mission against enemy forces who had taken control of a communications relay. We were to retake it, using a combination of stealth, tactics, and direct engagement. The moon was a hostile environment, not because of the terrain, but because of the unpredictability. The humans excelled in such an environment, adapting to situations that would make others falter. We had barely begun when the first ambush hit. A barrage of simulated fire rained down on us from the hills. Instinctively, I dropped to the ground, feeling the weight of the situation. I had been trained for such things, but nothing prepared me for the sheer speed and efficiency with which the humans responded. They didn't scatter in panic or confusion. They moved as one, with purpose and precision. Captain Holt, despite the chaos around her, was in complete control. She barked orders, and the soldiers responded in perfect synchronization. I watched, astonished, as they moved quickly, using cover and the terrain to their advantage. What struck me the most was the way the humans communicated. There was no hesitation, no second guessing. Every soldier knew exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to act in perfect concert with the others. It was as if their minds were all attuned to the same frequency. They had trained their bodies, yes, but they had also trained their minds, refining them to the point where instinct and training meshed perfectly. They didn't rely solely on technology. They relied on each other. It was teamwork in its purest form. As the simulation wore on, I began to see more and more of what made humanity unique. The soldiers, while skilled, were not cold or emotionless. There was laughter, camaraderie, and even moments of quiet reflection as they prepared for each new exercise. They supported each other, not out of obligation but out of a shared purpose. When one of the soldiers was hit during an exercise, the others didn't just rush to help. They took a moment to assess the situation, to make sure that they didn't rush in blindly, as others might have done. They understood that in order to protect the whole, they had to be strategic. The battle was intense, but it was the human resilience that stood out. Every time the enemy seemed to have the upper hand, the humans adapted. They didn't give up. They didn't retreat. They fought back harder, using their ingenuity to overcome obstacles, turning each setback into an advantage. It wasn't about brute force. It was about using every tool at their disposal, every tactic, every advantage, and exploiting weaknesses with relentless efficiency. I realized that this was the true strength of the human army, their minds, their ability to adapt, their indomitable spirit. They were not born soldiers, they were made into them. It was the culmination of countless generations of humans who had faced adversity and refused to yield. It was a culture built on the principles of perseverance, resourcefulness, and strength in unity. The more I saw, the more I understood. The humans didn't need to be the largest or the most technologically advanced. They didn't even need the most sophisticated weapons or the strongest allies. What they had, what set them apart, was their unbreakable bond, their unyielding belief in each other, and their ability to adapt to whatever situation they faced. I saw it on the battlefield when the humans held their ground against overwhelming odds, their resolve stronger than any weapon. I saw it in their medical bays when a soldier was injured and others stayed by their side, not just as comrades, but as family. I saw it in the way they never stopped, never gave up, never ceased to push forward. The more I saw, the more I understood that the true power of the human army lay not in its size, its technology, or its weapons. It lay in the hearts and minds of the soldiers who fought together. As I continued my time with the humans, I came to realize that the greatest lesson they had to offer wasn't just about military tactics or warfare. It was about the human spirit, about what it meant to fight, to survive, and to thrive in the face of impossible odds. It was about the unwavering belief that no matter how hard the challenge, humanity could overcome it. And in that moment, I understood why I had joined this human army. It wasn't just about witnessing their strength, it was about learning from it. The galaxy would soon learn what I had come to know: humanity, for all its flaws, was a force to be reckoned with. They were not to be underestimated. The soldiers I had seen, and the army they were a part of, were more than capable of shaping the future, of defending their people and their way of life, and of standing firm in the face of any challenge. And I realized, with a deep sense of awe, that the humans had a power that transcended even the mightiest weapons in the galaxy, the power of unity, resilience, and the unbreakable spirit of their army. This was what I had joined, and what I had come to admire, an army that wasn't just about force, but about heart. From that day forward, I would carry the lessons of the human army with me, wherever I went. The galaxy may have underestimated them, but I had seen the truth. And the truth was that humanity, in all its strength and vulnerability, was a force unlike any other.